right, welcome back to Orange Peelers. I don't want to be here, Zane.
Don't you?
Can we cut this?
Can we?
No podcast this week. Before we get into it, Zane, before we dive right into the mess that was the weekend, I want to tell the people watching on YouTube to subscribe. I went through the statistics the other day, and a lot of you people watching the podcast aren't subscribing. So, is that dog or what?
That is dog. How
so
dare they?
dog.
How dare they?
So, yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, go to YouTube and just subscribe for a giggle.
And follow him on TikTok.
And follow not only me,
but me as
you
well.
can follow Zane as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, let's shout out our TikToks. I mean, if they're watching the podcast,
You've
I
probably
assume
seen
they
us
follow us.
before.
But you're _ Zane Potter _
Yes.
and I'm Winston Neville _
Yes.
Should I add an underscore in front of my name to match
Up to
you?
you. Up to you. That'd be a bit
Should we
odd,
be
but-
matching?
Should we?
As you may have noticed, if you're on YouTube, obviously not if you're on Spotify, we're in our kit this week.
Yes, we play each other. I reckon should we come up with a punishment for whoever loses?
Oh, punishment.
I've got one actually.
Yeah?
Possibly.
What's your
I've
punishment?
got to look in the store again. World's hottest gummy bear.
Oh,
Yeah. There was some in the servo up the road from
Yeah,
me the other
right.
day. I don't know if they still have them, but
fire! That's a punishment.
that is a punishment. So.
I got an idea. What if we get people to comment punishments?
Good idea.
And I'll
Obviously, it has to be doable. Like we're not going to do something like streak the field. Like it's
Yeah.
something that we have to.
yeah, like let's not do.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to wear the loser's jersey. Like
No.
that's not
I
doable.
won't be, that won't be happening.
But yeah, I'll clip it up as well. So if you're watching the clip or if you're watching the podcast, comment a punishment. And we're not going to do most liked wins, but we'll pick one of the punishments.
Yeah.
We'll come to an agreement.
Exactly.
And the loser, which is going to be me because the Bulldogs suck.
Wouldn't
Is
say
gonna do the
that. I'm pretty nervous this weekend for
All
this
right,
game.
Before we get into the Bulldogs South game, which is the only reason we're here today. If the Bulldogs had the bye this week, I wouldn't be here, honestly. I wouldn't be here because I don't want to
They'd
be
be up
here.
at training, you coaching them instead of
Yeah,
Serrato.
yeah. I got a phone call actually from the Bulldogs saying, "Do you want to come train them this week?" But I declined because I've got the podcast to do. Let's just get straight into last. I don't want to get into last week, but we're going to.
It's a good week for me though.
The Sharks. Who'd they even
They
verse?
hammered the Dragons.
The
at
Dragons,
Cronulla,
yeah.
and this was just. I thought the Dragons were going to be the worst performing team of the round, but I spoke too soon.
The standards were low,
But
and
again,
the standards were
the
low.
Sharks in this game were just flat track bullies as always. Like, I still think they wouldn't have beaten an elite side in this game, like one of the top sides. And I think the Dragons would have been hammered worse than the Tigers or the Dogs were if they were playing a better side.
I thought Sharks were good though.
They were good, yes.
I
but
think that honestly, the way they played, I think there's top 8 teams they would have beaten. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's not a top 8 team that they beat.
Yeah.
And they still need to beat a top 8 team
and
to
beat
be
the
contenders.
Dragons were hopeless in this game. Terrell Sloan had good moments, but defensively, he's still got a lot of work
And
to
now
do.
he's been dropped.
He hasn't been dropped, apparently.
Oh,
He's injured.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good for him and his confidence that,
Yeah.
that he wasn't dropped.
I think that Hunt just looks disinterested. He doesn't want to be there anymore. So
To be
why should
fair,
they keep him there?
The first 50 minutes, it was like 20-16, I think,
Yeah,
after 50
yeah.
minutes. It was a close game.
And I said Dragons would aim up in this game, but it just fell away from him in the end.
And then
They couldn't
Sharks
keep
just
up.
clicked 55, 59, 67, 70, and 76. Like they just ran away with it.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't have that much to say
Not
about
much
this. It was
comment,
just,
just-
it was expected, right?
Yeah,
Like
this was just a disaster for the Dragons.
Nico Hines was good. I want to give out a shout out to Tom Hazelton. Isn't he a gun?
It's
The
next,
shine.
next Mark Nichols, isn't he?
The next
looks,
Mark
looks like
Nichols.
he's 30, but he's actually like early 20s.
Yeah.
isn't he? Yeah.
He'd be young. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure is he a rookie? I think he's a
I
rookie.
think he might be, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the bald head, the shine of Tom Hazelton. That's what they're calling him out in the Shire. The shine.
The shine.
shine. But yeah, I thought it was just an all-round. It was an all-round good team performance from the
Yeah.
Sharks, but in that they just dismantled the Dragons as
Yeah,
expected.
Dragons just weren't good at
Yeah.
all.
Is there any Dragons players you thought like? Is there any positives
Oh,
for
DeBellin
Dragons
had a
fans?
crack. DeBellin went okay. Sloan went okay, but Hunt just doesn't.
I was
look
gonna say
interested.
Hunt.
He did what he needed to do, but he's just like
He had one of his arguably his worst game
Ravelara
of the
was
season.
okay as well.
But they
apart
need
from
better
that.
than okay. Hey, that's
Yeah.
just. I don't know if you say it's disappointing, but it's
It's to
almost
be
expected, isn't
yeah.
it?
They're just not going well at the moment, the Dragons.
Yeah. I also want to. I don't. This isn't a shout out. This is almost a anti shout out to Shark Park, the stadium.
Yeah, the worst stadium. Yeah. I
Sold
think it's,
out. It's got 10,000 people in attendance. Are you serious?
But like, not even that. I just hate that stadium.
You've been to this year. Yeah, it's
It
garbage,
sucks.
eh? I hate it.
I hate there's 2 entry and exit points. When you're on the general admission hill, which is always the busiest part of the stadium, it's on the other side of the entrance. So everyone's got to walk in this tight little
The length,
corridor.
like literally the length of the field.
Yeah, I just hate that ground so much.
And then parking's the
They
worst.
need another entrance and exit like at the back. I know they've built the apartments now, so they had to get rid of that entrance way, but they need to find a way to have an entrance to the hill
Yeah,
because
100%.
it is just shocking.
It's
trying
so
to get there.
bad.
It's a terrible
And then
ground.
the train station isn't even that close. Like if you
it's
don't
a
want to
15-minute walk.
Like they're like, because parking is atrocious.
Oh yeah, that's
So
like
bad.
A
and they're
15-minute
like-
walk to the station.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, public transport. And as you just said, it's a 15-minute walk anyway. Like you almost, it's just,
It's a terrible.
it's,
ground.
I don't rate it, hey.
Yeah, it's terrible. Hate it.
What's worse, the Dragons' performance or Shark Park?
Oh, they're both neck and neck. I think. I just can't stand that ground. So I'm going to say Shark Park.
Shark Park
I
was
hate
worse?
going there. The first time I went there was Sharks Dragons last year. It was atrocious. But then the Rabbitohs Sharks game in round 1, which was like full house game.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's the apartments they've built. Just makes it feel really compact
Yeah.
and just
And
tight.
like they are doing work on it. So there's like, it does feel tighter than.
Yeah.
it
If they're
is, and
doing work
missing a
on it, they
bunch of
shouldn't be
sheet
playing there.
seats. Yeah.
Until they fix up the entry and exit points, I just
Yeah, a bit random.
hate
Like
that
they could be
ground.
playing at Cogra. I know, like it's Shark Park.
And the seating's
but
not that good there either.
Yeah.
I find.
yeah, it's silly. Oh well, that's enough bashing Shark Park.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm sorry, Sharks
you know,
fans.
You know what isn't as bad as Shark Park? The South Sydney Rabbitohs. They were pretty good, actually.
They were good. I
Surprisingly
rewatched it.
good.
Apparently, they just played the perfect game, coming off that shocker against the Cowboys.
In the rain as well.
Yeah, I think Souths are the best side in the rain. Do you think?
I
Or am I
think,
biased saying that? Like, such a.
I'd say Sharks.
You reckon? Oh,
Wet
yeah,
hair
we're
Nico,
fine. But- See,
unbeatable.
the reason I say Souths are the best side, and it's such a stupid reason. It's because every time I see Souths run out in the rain, it reminds me of that game like 15 years ago in Perth, where Chris Sando put
Yeah.
that kick into the end goal and Reece West, and it got stopped in a puddle, and Reece West had
That's
dived.
that's such a good try.
Yeah, every time I see him run in the rain, it just reminds me of that game, and I'm like, yeah, Souths are good in the
That's a
rain.
YouTube classic. That try.
Yeah, it is.
Like if you go
We've
on
got to
YouTube and
insert
search
it
like,
here if you haven't seen it. It's such a
yeah,
funny
you know
try.
what? I might get copyright striked, but I'm gonna attempt to insert it onto the YouTube.
Okay.
I'm gonna try.
I'll post it on my TikTok as
Yeah,
well.
I was literally gonna say like that's one of those videos where like you toss it on your TikTok. No matter how many times you posted it, it'll go nuts. Everyone loves that try.
But yeah, every time I see South run out, and I did it on Friday night when I saw him run out, it just reminded me of that game. I'm like, please kick, please be a puddle in the end goal or something.
Yeah, that's classic.
How good is Tyrone Munro?
Boy, he went all right, eh?
I think he could possibly, it's a big court rival, Addo for speed. He is quick.
Yeah.
And he's only 18 as well. He's 10 days younger than me, by the way. You know.
So you're older than some NRL players now. How does that?
I'm
make
not younger, older than me.
Oh, he's
He was
older than
born
you.
in the end of December.
So there's
2004.
none. Oh, there probably is one
Olapu's
younger.
than
There you
me.
go. So
He's 11 days younger than
How
me.
does that make you feel?
Yeah, makes me feel old. Now that people my age are now playing in the NRL, I'm like, what have I missed out on?
Yeah, wait till there's people 3 years younger than you
yeah.
running around.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, gosh, he's good, isn't he? And Richie Kenner, he had a blinder.
Ex-Bulldogs legend, mate.
Yeah, is he?
Ex-Bulldogs legend.
He was in everything. Tackling, he was just everywhere on the field. And Cody Walker built his way into that Origin side, I think,
yeah,
with
well,
this game. He
I
had a great game.
think you almost have to assume that that performance literally put him in Origin.
Yeah.
And we're going to do, we say this every time there's an Origin preview. There's no Origin chat today. Go and watch the Origin preview in a
Yes.
couple of days. That'll drop like Sunday or Monday, hopefully. But like you look at some of the other selections that seem to be very based on the weekend just gone. And so maybe it's like, and Cody Walker against the Cowboys had like his worst game ever.
Oh, yeah.
And then he bounces back and plays like this. He wasn't picked based off the Cowboys game.
He was
In fact,
picked off
I
this
thought
game.
the Cowboys game cost him his spot.
Yeah, so
I
did
didn't think
I.
he was a chance of
So
getting
did I,
picked.
but he was great in this game. He's just so
that shows how good he
just
was
so
this game.
smart, isn't he? He just knows like how to kick, where the perfect spot to be is.
He's really stepped up without Adam Reynolds there.
Yeah, he has, and he's learnt to. You know, everyone was saying when Reynolds left, this is the end of Walker, but he's learnt to play without him.
Yeah.
because he trusts Lachlan Ellis a lot.
And
more
now
as
he's,
well.
I guess, this is almost it's not a big statement, but there's not that much evidence to back it up, to be honest. But he's slowly learning to play without Trella as well.
Yeah.
In this game.
I think he's just at that age where he can lead a side around. But what do you think of the Warriors?
It's hard to say, to be honest, because I don't think they were that bad.
They just had a few errors.
Just weren't
in
in
them.
it.
South were just too good for them, I think.
That's what I think.
But is it that time of the year now? You know, Origin period's starting to end.
don't
They
say
peak in
it.
Origin period and then they fade off at the end of the year.
Don't
Is
say
it going to happen again?
I remember a couple of weeks ago you were saying how like Sean Johnson usually gets into something, and apparently like he's out this week because he's having a kid. Does he just like go full dad mode and doesn't come back?
No. Well, I don't know, but we all know the Warriors peak in Origin period like they have this year and they fade off. I just pray to God it doesn't happen. But is it happening after?
It's one game.
You know, is this game on Friday going to just drop their confidence and are they just going to fall?
It's one game.
I hope not.
And I think their game this coming week is a really big game in the context of their season against Parramatta.
It is.
Who are missing a lot of players. If they can get if they can win that game, that'd be massive.
Be certain for the 8 if they win this game.
Yeah, that'd be massive for them. It'll just give them such a boost, especially at Combank as well.
And they've never won there.
There you go.
I think they're the only undefeated team there, are they?
I'm not
I'm
sure.
not undefeated. I'm
the
only team that's never won. I think Gold Coast
sure,
maybe.
Tigers have one.
I don't think.
Dragons.
No, they have. They beat South there.
I think Dragons won a game there last year.
Yeah, they beat the Dogs there.
No,
or the Tigers, yeah.
They beat the Tigers, yeah. Yeah, maybe Titans?
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
I know the Warriors have never won at Combank. They've played there 3 times.
Yeah, right.
And they've never won, so.
I mean, yeah, that sort of makes sense. I feel like I'm trying to think of, I guess, Dolphins.
Yeah, no, Dolphins haven't either, but, you know.
I'm just trying to think of, like, teams that don't play there much, but, like, the only really bad team, sorry, that was bad wording, not like the teams are really bad, but the only bad teams, like Bulldogs, Dragons, Tigers, like, Dragons won there last year, and then Bulldogs and Tigers have it as a home ground, or have in the past, which means they've played heaps there, and they've played enough to, like, win a game. So, yeah.
Exactly, you know.
You might be right there.
But we'll talk about that game soon.
Panthers Storm, Zane.
Yeah, I
This is a good
didn't
game.
watch this game. I know the Storm were up 14-0, and I know Penrith ran away with it, and I heard Isaac Tago had an absolute blinder. And that's all I can put into that game because I didn't watch it. I was out a party.
That sums it up quite well. Let's move on.
Is that it?
No, I thought, because I watched this one, I thought Storm, when they were winning 14-0, they had all the momentum. They were completely just like rolling through them. And I thought, like, Storm are going to put on an absolute clinic here. I thought Storm, not only were they going to win,
just didn't, give up.
Panthers just weren't in it at all. And then Stephen Crichton, I think it was Stephen Crichton scored a penalty try in the 30th minute, and momentum just shifted like that. Like, Storm just stopped. Tango scored. He had a great game. He had such a good game.
And then for Origin as well.
Yeah.
Tago.
A lot of people are saying he should have been in there. And then that almost tied it. And then right on half time, as Storm were probably relieved, we've just held on. Liam Martin scores. And like that.
How did Penrith always seem to just score at the perfect moments?
Yeah. If Liam Martin doesn't score that try to take the lead right before half time, completely different second half, I reckon. But he did score the try, and then Penrith just ran away with it. And so it was a game of two halves, quite literally.
Because it was a big score as well. And the Storm have had these games
it was 34 to it was 13 plus in the end.
Yeah.
Panthers they're comfortable being uncomfortable. They don't care if they're behind by 14.
Because we saw in the prelim last year when South were up 12-0 and they still annihilated us by 20.
Yeah.
Like, they just seem to know the right time.
They're really good at playing off their momentum as well. They always have done that. They're capable of grinding out a game, and they're also capable of winning big because they have, that's
They're
like
just
almost
so
their two
good, aren't
modes. They either just like go with the momentum and just like kill ya, or they just like will sit in a grind.
Yeah.
And we saw that game against South earlier in the year that they lost, but like they sat in that grind and then like pulled it out at the end.
Then Penrith don't normally lose like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they were in the grind and then they scored one or two late to finish it.
I still can't, thinking about it, completely forgot that they lost to the Tigers.
Yeah.
As well, the Panthers.
In the rain.
I
You were saying South might be the best rain team. Panthers
I think
are
South are the worst in the rain. Penrith are the worst in the rain.
Yeah, that'd have to be. But yeah.
So hopefully in September it's raining. That's all I can say. They get a wet, what's it called? La Nina comes back in September. Yeah.
Shout out to La Nina. I know Nico Hines would be hoping for that. Raiders and Titans. This was a pretty entertaining game.
Pretty controversial one as well.
Yeah, there was a couple of calls.
That Fafita being taken off, that was a joke.
What do you mean?
That
the
when
try?
he Fogarty got in his way.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
joke.
Yeah, no,
and I was
yeah.
laughing when that happened because Fogarty tried to come in and like shoulder for Feeder off, but Fogarty was the one that went flying. Feeder didn't even flinch
Yeah.
at him. And then well, that was a joke that wasn't a try.
Yeah,
Complete joke.
I thought it was a try.
He didn't even like pull him. He kind of just like trying to compete for it.
Yeah, you've said that perfectly, Zane.
Yeah.
They were competing for the ball.
Exactly.
You've put that
Like, I don't know
perfectly.
who in the bunker thought that they had to take that off him.
And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the NRL came out and said that it was the wrong call.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
We all know it's the wrong call. I couldn't believe it. And that costed them the game in the end.
And it's hard to make that call that it cost them the game because, like, obviously you look at the score, they lost by 4 points, but you don't know how the game's going to go.
Exactly,
after
I know
point.
that.
So, but I do see what you're saying. That was a big moment in the game.
I think Titans would have won if they got that try because
It was a
they
big
would have
moment.
gone into the sheds with their heads up high and the Raiders would have had their heads down. So, there's not much they can do about it now. That's just the Titans. They're just inconsistent, aren't they? They can go out and beat the Broncos and then they just play a pretty like average game against the Raiders. In a game like, I think the Titans are capable of beating the Raiders with the way
they
they
were
play.
definitely capable of
Yeah.
winning this game.
But the Raiders win another close game.
Yeah.
They're either getting hammered or they're winning the tight games, the Raiders. So
Hudson
they're
Young
fifth at
loves
the
a
moment,
match
aren't they?
winner.
Yeah,
What's that?
They're fifth at the moment, the Raiders.
Yeah, they're up there. And if
I
you go off win percentage, I'm pretty sure they're fourth or even third.
Yeah.
Like,
But their
they're
fight against is
deep in-
hopeless.
Yeah. And we said it last week though, like as long as they keep winning games,
And that's all they're worried about this
they
time, I
won't.
think.
They'll be right. They'll be right. Like in terms of the for and against won't
You
cost
think
them.
they play finals? So
Yeah.
do I.
Yeah. And because
Oh, actually.
the thing is, if
that's
they're tied 7th, 8th, they'll drop out because of the for and against. But
yeah.
I think
thinking
they're
about
doing
that,
enough to get ahead of those teams.
I
To
don't
be
know.
honest, I
It's
think they'll
hard.
play it.
Someone big's going to have to drop out, I reckon, if the Raiders, because I think the Cowboys are going to make it.
Nobody has to drop out. What do you mean that
I
somebody has
think
to drop
Cowboys
out?
play finals.
But what do you mean somebody has to drop out for the Raiders to make it there in there?
No, I'm not necessarily the Raiders, but I'm saying someone has to drop out the
'cause
8.
for Cowboys
Whether
to
it's the
come
Warriors,
in.
whether it's the Sharks, like the Eels, the
Eels.
Raiders, like someone
Eels are
has to
playing
drop
too
because
good
I
at the
think
moment.
Cowboys are making it.
I think Cowboys don't make it.
I reckon they do.
I know
The
they're
way
playing insane footy, but the start of the season's cost them.
Well, I think the way they're playing, they can scrape in there.
I'm not saying
think
they
they're gonna
can't,
be hard to
but
beat
I
for
just
these
think
last-
the way that the ladder is, I just like because they said somebody has to drop out, and I don't see anyone except maybe the Warriors dropping out. But
Exactly.
even then, I don't see the Warriors dropping out.
And I'm still backing the Dolphins to possibly make it as well. And the Titans, I don't think they will, but like I think they're capable.
capable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that are capable.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the way the table is at the moment, like honestly, the most likely team to drop out, Zane, is the Rabbitohs.
No, they won't,
at
though.
the moment, and they won't. But
They're
that's
not likely.
in
They
my
won't.
opinion.
Then
That's
there
the
is
most
no
likely.
way in the
though.
world they will not play finals this year.
It's just
no way in the world.
But they're the most likely.
They're not the most likely.
Who's more likely to drop
I
out
think
than the
Warriors
Rabbitohs?
or Raiders.
Warriors have a better run.
I think
home.
Sharks make it.
Yeah,
I think-
Shark. You lock in Panthers, Broncos. Do they fall out again?
I won't rule it out, but I think you're pretty certain they'll play finals.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Though, like the top.
I
eight's
think if there's
pretty
a side
sad.
that'll drop out, it'll be either Warriors or Raiders.
Warriors have a good run, and Raiders they're not
If
dropping
Raiders
out.
lose
They're too
one-
deep in. They're so
Yeah,
deep
but
in.
if they lose one game, they're going to drop to like 8th or something. I haven't really looked
they've
at the
got
ladder.
how many buys have they had?
They've had 3, I think, maybe.
Oh, if they've had 3 buys,
No,
then
maybe
that comes
2.
back to bite them. Have a look. The,
they might
the
have
ladder
had,
I'm
you can
looking at
see it
doesn't
on the
show
ladder as well.
because maybe
Right,
at the
here it
moment
is.
they're like a couple of points ahead of everyone else.
Raiders
That's
have
the
had
thing.
2 buys.
So they've still got a buy up their sleeve.
But you see, if they lose this weekend,
How many
and
buys have South and Warriors had?
Souths have had 1.
Oh yeah, that
So
helps. Them.
they're in 7th.
Yeah, so they're
they'll
they're
overtake them.
safe then.
Warriors or Eels will win this weekend. So,
How
one
many
of them.
buys have they had? 'Cause the
Warriors and
have
Eels
had-
have both had 2.
Yeah,
as
right.
well.
Interesting.
Broncos have had 1 and they're in 2nd. Wow.
It'll be, maybe the for and against does cost the Raiders.
It does. Like, I
Like
just.
maybe that's what ends up happening. They end up equal with the Cowboys,
Even
and
the
Cowboys go
Knights
in.
could go on a run to finals, but I don't know if I'm just
Nah, I
judging them
don't-
too
nah.
much like the Origin
I
selectors
don't
of one
think so.
game.
They're 5 points behind 8th.
Okay, yeah. It's a tight
And
race
then like
for
a lot
the-
of
for the eight this year.
not me personally, but a lot of people are like Roosters still a chance. Manly.
Roosters aren't. Manly are a chance, but
Yeah.
Roosters, I think, whoever won that.
It's so
I
it's still
said
tight.
we'll get to that game. Whoever lost that Sunday game would miss the
out.
8. Yeah.
Well, like what are they? They're 2 wins outside now, so
Yeah.
it's still possible. But
But the Raiders, they're going
as
well.
we're sitting here saying, it's just there's too many teams
They're
competing.
grinding games out, the Raiders, and that's all they need to do.
Yeah, if they keep winning games, it doesn't matter how much they win by, as long as they're winning them.
They're a dangerous team when it comes to finals as well.
We saw them knock off Storm last year.
Exactly. Then they got hammered the next week, but they ignore that game. They just say we beat the Storm in finals. But what's next? Which game was this after this?
Sorry, Tigers fans.
Sorry, yeah.
We're going to talk about the Cowboys and the Tigers.
We are. You see this coming?
Well,
It was
like,
nil
yes
all.
and no.
It was nil all. Like after 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, this could be a grind. I get in the shower. Like I had a shower. I got out. It was 24-0. I'm like, oh, okay, Jesus, what's
I
going
was
on
at
here?
work and I'd put a bet on. Shout out to Picklebet. No, well, I was going to say not an ad, but that is an ad. Shout out to Picklebet. Use code HOTDOG. I put on a bet Cowboys 13 plus and Valame.
Yeah.
Just a cheeky little. It was like paying $2. Wasn't paying much. And then, as you just said, it was like 10, 15 minutes in. It was nil all, and I was like, oh no, like Tigers are up for this. And then 10 minutes later, it was like 18-0.
I know.
And I was like, yes. And
Just
then I
like,
looked at the
shit,
try scorers, and
42-0.
Valame had scored his first of many.
42-0 at halftime.
Insane.
Disgraceful
Insane.
for a professional sports team to be in that margin.
Was it the biggest of NRL era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
Cowboys are great, but that was just... And Tim Sheen's press conference.
I didn't see it. What did he
is
say?
Oh, we were just unlucky. See, it was similar to Serrato. He's like, we're looking forward to Thursday now.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Far out. They were unlucky.
See, he still reckons they can push for the 8.
Yeah, I saw you said that. That's just stupid.
I don't know what's wrong with Tim Sheens.
I was saying to you off camera before we started recording, because you said like Bulldogs like contending for the spoon, which like obviously they're contending for it, but I'm so adamant Tigers are getting the spoon. Sorry, Tim Sheens, but you're getting the spoon.
I don't
or Dragons.
know. It's still hard because I reckon it's a three-way battle between the Dogs, Tigers, and Dragons. I reckon either of them can get it. So,
I just think that the Bulldogs have done enough early on, luckily, to avoid it.
I don't know. I can still see a world where they win it this year.
Yeah, I can see a world, but I think it's Tigers or
Dragons. I'd put money on the Dragons, so I'm backing them to get it.
I've got money. Shout out to Picklebet again. I'm not a gambling addict, but also shout out to Picklebet.
Yeah.
I've got money. I put it on at the start of the season.
For the
Dragons to get the
Dragons,
spoon.
yeah.
Got a bit of value for it. So I am hoping it's going to be Dragons, but just because of the buys, Tigers have had the extra buy, and so that worries me. And like they've just lost 74-0. And the big problem with the Tigers
loss of
is
the
that
weekend,
Brooks is out and Appy is out and Dewey is out, and they're missing them so much.
3 best players.
Yeah, like literally.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe outside Papali and Bateman, I guess.
Bateman,
but Buller's doing all right as well. Like you just lost 74-0 in the NRL. I'm sorry, but and I know I can't really talk. But as of when it happened, I could.
They should leave the league. Just hopeless.
Obviously they're a merger club and Dragons are a merger club. Should they merge the mergers and create a quad merge?
Please don't.
Should we make them the West Tigers and move them to Western Australia? Really embrace the West
Never know.
Tigers?
They just got this whole new high performance centre, so that won't happen.
Clearly they're performing high.
Yeah.
Clearly the high performance centre's working.
This was just a disgraceful game.
It was just
74-0. Like, my God.
And as we've said, in the first 15, well, the first try came in the 14th minute, but in the first 13 minutes and the last 10 minutes, so that's a quarter of the game. Guess how many tries were scored by the Cowboys in that quarter of a game?
Oh, 0.
One. And it was a 79th minute one. So like that was 68 points in 60 minutes.
Wow.
Like,
It's just terrible, isn't it? For a professional sporting side.
Are they going to win another game this year?
I reckon they will.
I
reckon they get at least another win.
Because they don't play the Bulldogs. I don't think they play the Dragons.
Yeah, but
they play Sharks this week. They play Knights the week after, but Knights might be premiership heavyweight. Oh, pardon me, they do play the Dragons.
They play them in Wollongong.
Yeah, I was going to say, Zane, free up Thursday, the 20th of July.
Thursday night game. Gosh.
Thursday night game.
Who is doing this scheduling?
16th,
Who thinks
17th.
this deserves to be a Thursday night game?
That's disgusting.
It is.
And that's not like, at the start of the season we didn't know. Yeah, we did. They were the two most likely for the spoon. Apart from the Dolphins, I think. Well, likely. Are you serious? That's our Thursday night football.
Oh. And a crowd of about 5,000.
It's Wynn Stadium, and usually the Dragons fans get around Wynn Stadium.
Not on Thursday night.
That's
there
true.
was a game in 2018, and it was 3,000.
You would have
That
been
was
at the
Thursday night
Souths
game.
one when Dragons won last
That
year.
was
How many were
packed.
at that? Oh, was it?
Oh, that was like 15,000.
Yeah, because that was Thursday.
Yeah.
But yeah, far out.
Yeah.
that's not,
Very
and I can just tell already it's going to rain that night.
Yeah,
it's going to be pouring
gonna
rain that
move
night.
a few thousand more people out.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh my goodness, that is just. Can we like actually start a petition to put like a different game on?
Yeah, can we just like reschedule or something?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what
just
else?
shocking.
Which other games are on that
Well,
round?
like you got Sharks Manly Sunday afternoon.
No, just
that's
swap
not
them
that
around.
bad.
You know, but is that the Channel 9 Sunday game?
Yeah.
Well, no, because
you-
this game does not deserve to be a Channel 9 game.
Oh yeah, we don't want that. Well,
No.
let's bump Bulldogs Panthers to the Channel 9 Sunday game.
Okay,
And
yeah.
we consider it.
That'll be
Nah,
it.
what about this? Saturday is Cowboys Eels. That'd be a
There we
good
go.
game.
Swap those two around.
Yes, yeah, swap them.
Yeah.
And Fox
They're
League
not
can
going
have.
to, like, but
Yeah, obviously, but
would have been a more logical thing to do in the first place, to tell you the truth, when they were
I
doing it at
guess,
the start
like-
of the year.
I was about to say, I guess you have to give Dragons and Tigers like a Thursday game at some stage.
Yeah, but it's like
But the
most-
Bulldogs don't have a single Thursday night game this
It's
year,
the
so you
most-
don't have to.
it's the most watched, like, time slot in the NRL. Most watched game.
Do you reckon
of
they
the
knew it
weekend.
was going to be a spoon bowl?
Maybe.
And that's why, because people get around spoon bowls. Like at the end of the day, this is in round 21, so in a couple of weeks. So this game almost literally dictates who gets the spoon.
Exactly. I reckon who loses that game gets the spoon.
Yeah, so maybe that's game of the round. But yeah, anyway, shout out to the Cowboys getting it done. I know we just sat here and bagged for the Tigers for a bit, but what did you think of the Cowboys? I thought they were pretty good.
Outstanding. Drinkwater played his way into that Origin squad as well.
Yeah, shout out to Scotty Drink. He had an absolute blinder again. I mean, it's hard to knock any of the Cowboys players. They all basically scored a try. And I know it was against the Tigers in a 74-0 humping, but I think Scotty Drinkwater had like, he had a, hang on, I want to get
He
the
got
official
101
numbers.
points on fantasy.
There you go. He cracked
And he
100 on fantasy.
Got taken off with 10 minutes to go, so
Where's he had like a five. He scored 2 tries.
he's my player of the
I
round
reckon
as
5
well.
try assists.
He's my player of the round, Scott Drinkwater. He nearly was last week, but I've given
You know what, actually? He's mine as well.
Yeah, there's a few other
And he was
options.
mine last week as well. So shout out to Scotty Drinkwater, the first ever player to win back-to-back
Player of the
Orange
round.
Peelers Player of the
been
Round.
out
5
incredible
try
recently.
assists, 2 tries, 4 line break assists,
Oh,
230 run meters, and 100 fantasy points. And that's only in 70 minutes
my God.
because he got hurt at the end.
What's the biggest record on fantasy?
Like 150, 160 maybe?
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
Cleary or high.
Cleary got it.
Yeah, Google it. Here, I'll Google it. I'll do your NRL
150.
fantasy highest score. It was a lot. I know Tom Trebojevic, he put up 150 against the Cowboys in round 25 of 2021. So there you go, Tommy Turbo.
Oh, yeah.
150. And Cleary had it at 144.
What round was it for Travojevic?
Round 25. It would have been the last
final.
round against the Cowboys.
Oh, that game. Okay. Yeah.
The one where they scored that sick try
Yeah.
at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So that makes sense. 150. Imagine captaining that. That's 300 points. That's like how much points you get in a buy
That's all you
round.
need, 300 points.
Yeah, that's insane. And now he's like injured and
Yeah.
in hospital.
It's like, what's he worth now? Like 600K?
Yeah, probably not much. And nobody would own him because he's out for the season.
Exactly.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Now, the Cowboys, they did Queensland proud. You know who else did Queensland proud?
The Bronx.
The Bronx.
Oh.
Against in the Queensland Derby against the Finns, Brisbane,
Yeah.
Battle of Brisbane.
You know, Finns are up for this. They've been a lot better than what they have been for like about a month now, but Broncos just too good for them in the end.
Yeah, that's I
Colbo
thought,
was close to being my player of the round.
I mean, yeah, Dolphins were up, weren't they? Weren't they up 16-12?
16-14.
16-40, yeah, they were up 16-14.
Yeah, then Cobbo scored
and
that
then,
try, I
And then
think.
Cobbo was like, nah, I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And scored 2 tries to win the game. 68th minute and 77th minute. I thought Selvin Cobbo, and it was a hat-trick as well because he scored the opener. He was very, very good. He actually, I had him up there for player of the round.
Yeah.
He
But
was very
If it
good.
wasn't for that Scott Drinkwater blinder, he would be my player of the round.
Yeah.
Actually,
There was a couple of others
Yeah.
I looked at, but yeah, no. Shout out to Cobbo, and I know I said we wouldn't talk about Origin, but man, he's been hard done by.
Yeah,
to not
I
get
know.
back into that team, especially after this game.
strange that he's not there.
Doesn't he give you a bit of Greg Inglis vibes?
I wouldn't go that far.
You don't
yeah.
reckon? That try he scored where he like gets it and kicks for himself, that's just Greg Inglis.
Oh, did Greg Inglis ever do that?
I don't know, but
I don't remember a
I can
time he did
picture
that.
Greg Inglis doing that. That's Greg Inglis vibes. Like he's just like, I'm better than you. I'm going to score however I want to.
And he just outran them. Like he
Yeah.
got so lucky there. As
He was
Andrew
laughing
Johns,
while he
as
did
Andrew
it.
Johns says, the Indigenous players somehow just get the ball to bounce back to them.
Yeah, it always sits up for him.
Yeah, Cody Walker, Cobbo, Preston Campbell, like they all just
Yeah.
get the right bounce.
Benny
don't
Barber always got a good bounce.
they? Oh yeah, he did too.
He did. He literally always got such good bounces, except in the 2012 grand final.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was Josh off a Ben Barber kick, but yeah, that haunts me forever.
Actually, no, there's another one. The one where Greg Inglis scored that full field try.
Yeah.
And he just outran like
Because
8 people.
I guess Greg Inglis must be more indigenous or something.
I wonder
He got a better bounce.
I wonder how much fantasy points Greg Inglis would have got off that one run.
Oh, hey.
Like 8 tackle breaks or whatever. He just,
100 run meters.
I wonder how
Try.
much points he would have got off that one run.
So many.
Yeah.
So many. But yeah, I thought, as you sort of said, the Dolphins, they were much better in this one than they have been.
Let me interrupt before we go on.
Yeah.
I remember that Greg Inglis try. My dad, like I was like 8 at the time. As soon as he got that ball, he knew he was going to score.
Yeah.
And he beat the first player. He's like, oh, he's going to score here. I'm like, no. And he just did. I'm like, what? How has
He
done
was
that?
low key on the treadmill too.
I know. And the commentators are just like, 1, 2, 3. Oh my God.
Like they caught up to him, but they just couldn't tackle him.
You see just how he put the ball down. He looked
he,
like,
like,
he wasn't
slips
even
over at the end and then just
looked
gets
like
back
he
up.
wasn't even trying. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I scored.
That's like one of the
Great
greatest
individual
individual
tries,
tries
that,
ever,
yeah.
easily. Yeah, no, that's easily one of the best
Yeah,
individual
absolutely.
tries. And I know, like, I'm obviously Bulldogs fan, grew up, like, Ben Barber was in his prime, like, at that age when you're
Well,
a
this
kid.
is when he went to the Broncos.
Yeah, but I was going to say, like, Ben Barber, he was so good to score an individual try, and a lot of the best ever would be from Ben Barber. So it's so ironic that he's the one that set that one
Yeah,
up.
well, yeah,
because he kicked it.
put the chip over and it bounced
Yeah.
away from him into
Yeah.
Inglis. If it bounced to Barber, he would have scored there.
Yeah,
unless
100%.
Inglis was like, no, he could have been stopped. But
Yeah.
if the ball bounced back to Barber, he was in there.
He would have
But,
put on a bit of footwork.
Unfortunately, it went to Inglis and didn't go well.
We got one of the great tries ever. But yeah, I thought the Dolphins, they did, obviously they lost, but they did well. They got up for
They
it.
did well. I'm still not writing them off from the 8.
Yeah.
I can see where they're bottom 4 as well, but I think they've shown enough.
I thought Broncos, credit to them because they had a couple of injuries.
They did.
And they still got the job done. So I thought it was a
Do
really
they
good
they
win
have
for
a bye
them.
this week, don't they?
Yeah.
Then they got the Dogs after that.
Yeah.
Then South's okay.
I know at the moment Walsh is out for that game, and then
He's got 3 games, hasn't he?
Flegler, yeah,
So he'll be out for the South game as well.
no, that's when he returns because of Origin. Origin counts.
Oh, does it?
How dumb's that? Is that dumb or what?
It is dumb.
Is that dumb or
how
what?
did, like the panel know he was going to get selected
Yeah.
for Origin?
That's what I mean. Like how
Jordan
dumb is
Ricky
that?
could have said, "I'm playing Origin." Like,
Yeah, it is dumb though,
yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is. How did the panel know that he was going to get
Yeah.
selected for Origin?
He should have to go into camp. I think
He shouldn't have to.
he should have to.
Go
If
into
he's
camp.
missing, if that counts towards a suspension, he's not.
Oh.
He didn't get picked.
Yeah.
and I understand you didn't get picked because he's suspended, but it should be club games.
Yeah, exactly.
There almost should be a system where even if you're suspended, you're allowed to play Origin.
Because
To be honest,
Payne Haas is due back that game when they play South as
yeah, I
well.
was going to say he's out against the Bulldogs as well. Plus, you got blokes like Carrigan and that who might not back up at Belmore.
And the boycott.
Put yes on the
boycott game.
Hey, the boycott got boycotted. They called it off.
Did they?
They cancelled the boycott.
Okay.
They said they're doing something else.
God.
We're getting there. Are we up to that? Is that where we're up to?
We are.
Screw it. Let's just go to it. Let's get it done.
What happened to you, Winston?
Zane Potter, I've been planning this all week. We're going deep. I want to go through the entire team. Let's just break it down one by one because I've got a lot to say.
Should we do our most disappointing player now? Gosh,
Who's yours?
Gosh,
Who's
there's so
yours?
much to choose
'Cause
from.
mine's from this game.
17 times 3. There's 3 teams. But
What?
the worst of the
Dragons,
worst.
Tigers, and
The
Bulldogs.
worst of the worst. Can we say it at the same time? Paul Alamotti.
Yeah, I didn't say it because I didn't know if we had the same player,
Yeah,
but
but
mine is also
that
Paul
he was
Alamotti.
just
The
awful.
proof's on my screen.
My gosh. That was honestly one of the worst individual defensive performances I've seen. And there's been some bad ones. Like, we're never going to forget Nathan Merritt in Origin.
Or
that-
Morgan Harper defending Talakai.
Oh, yeah. But that defense on the Bulldogs' right edge was hopeless.
And that's
And
where I
I'm
want to
talking about
start.
Rajib, what's his name?
Rajab.
Rajab
Yeah.
Ockenbaugh. Ockenbaugh played on the weekend, not the
Nah,
Ock.
the Ock's
And
retired,
Alamotti
apparently.
were just
Yeah.
hopeless.
And that's exactly
Made
where I want
Bradman
to
Best
start.
look good.
They didn't just make Bradman Best look good, Zane. They got him picked in Origin.
Exactly.
He wasn't in the conversation.
Because they made him look good, the Dogs.
No, you know what? That is rude to Bradman Best. That is rude, Zane. That is rude to Bradman Best. That is rude. You're being rude. Shout out to Greg Alexander.
Oh, God.
360.
Hayes Perham, hopeless as well
Yeah,
at the back.
he was close
Carraz
to-
was the only one trying on that right edge. I think, look,
Yeah.
Ockenball's just lazy.
Yeah.
Well, and Matt Burton, unfortunately, had the
Yeah,
worst
the
game of
bad
his
game,
career.
yeah.
And it costed
Yeah,
him
fair
his
enough.
Origin.
I was going to say, would you go that
Worst
far?
game of his career,
Maybe
yep.
you would. Because
Right.
he's a good player. He hasn't actually had that many bad
Yeah.
games. So that's a fair share.
This is just, I don't know if the Dogs have just looked at their draw for the next couple of weeks and just realised, yeah, there's no way we're going to be able to play finals. So let's just throw in the
I
towel
feel
now.
like the thing is though, I feel like Cameron Serrato did that ages ago when he debuted Carlo Luapu. I thought that was a sort of, we're not playing
I
finals.
think the
Let's
team
fly
have probably
people through.
realised, like, what can we do? But 66-0
Yeah.
to the Knights, who aren't going any better than the Dogs.
Yeah.
Imagine if they versed like a full
Like
strength
literally,
team.
Zane. Before the game, if Bulldogs won this game, we jumped the Knights on the ladder. It's not like it's a top 8 side. They were as good as each other.
Exactly.
Like we literally would have been ahead of them.
Can
if
you
we won.
imagine if the Dogs played like a full strength Penrith team?
I don't want to.
A full strength South team, that right edge going up against a full strength South team.
Even
that
like
left
like the
edge.
Broncos team.
I know, but if that right edge
Yeah.
went up against that full strength Rabbitohs left edge,
Yeah.
how much of the margin? With Trell, Cody, and Johnston.
You know what's ironic? Like you say, like imagine if it was South, Panthers, even Broncos, like all these best attacking teams outside the Sharks, according to Buzz. But guess who we play in the next 3 weeks?
I know.
Or 4 weeks.
Broncos,
South, Broncos, Panthers.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, are you serious? And obviously,
did
South's
Ockenball
aren't
keep
full
him spot
strength.
in the
But
side? He
yeah,
dropped.
he's
Okay.
starting. So
Really? Really?
Actually, well, let's come back to the team list. We'll come back to that. Oh no, let's. Okay, so Torpenay's named at centre,
He is.
which I want to talk about
Strange.
as well. And Ockenball's named at second row, but I have a feeling Torpenay might move to second row,
When Ockenball was the
and
centre.
Ockenball gets either benched or drops out. And I feel like that might bring in one of the young centres to debut.
Yeah, but do you think these 3 games are good games to debut players against the top sides, like literally the 3 top teams?
Well, yeah, I think they have to. The problem is there's no other centres, so.
I think possibly this week because it's South Reserve
this
grade
week.
team.
But the thing
So-
is, so we've got Perham and Alamotti dropped, and then Fox in Origin. So people have to come in.
Do you think they
And
come
obviously
back into the
Burns
side
comes in.
eventually? Alamotti and
Yeah,
Perham?
Alamotti, yeah, he'll
reckon
be
he does?
back. He'll be back. He's 18. Assuming we re-sign him,
what
which we
about
let Averilla
Perham?
go. I hope not.
You hope
Not at fullback. He can. I'm sure he can cover wing and centre just fine. Not at fullback.
Keep
He's-
Avarillo there.
For the rest of the season, yeah.
Okay.
And then big old Stephen Crichton
Yeah,
comes
Critter.
in, the saviour. I really want to go through some of the things that I didn't like. And this isn't in terms of
Just the entire
players
game.
playing bad. This is coaching. I want to get into the coaching. I want to get into the head of Cameron Serrato, Zane. First of all, Hayes Perham at fullback. Why was he still being picked? He's been dropped now. Why was he still being picked?
Weeks ago, I thought he's been hopeless most year. Just
And then,
not a good fullback.
obviously, Adokar and Kruz on the wings, like,
No, they're not going to.
obviously.
They're fine.
But then, this is almost my biggest issue. You got Avarillo and Alamotti at centres, who have been the centres all year. He swapped their sides.
Yeah, I noticed that actually. He did.
Why? Why?
So Alamotti in the end was on Carraz's side.
On
That
the
was-
right.
yeah.
He's played left centre all season.
I
And
don't know
not
if
only
they've
all
done it just
season,
to get Avarillo and Adokar next to each other.
but why would you put them next to each other? They're the two fast players. You want them on
Yeah, I
either
think
edge.
that's why they want them
you
next to
want
it.
speed spread out.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Yeah,
what teams should do.
but that's what I
think that's why they've done it.
I
to
was
keep,
trying to work it out.
keep the speed
The
next
whole
to each
first
other.
half, I was like, were they doing it to mark Dom Young? But if Adokar's not catching Dom Young, Avarillo's not catching Dom Young. Adokar's the fastest man on the planet. Are you serious? And then not only is that stupid, defensive reads, Zane, we've seen Damien Cook in Origin. Defensive reads at centre is the hardest in the NRL. That's the hardest position to read. And obviously, Alamotti's a centre. He's a left centre. He's played left centre his entire junior career. So yes, he's a centre. He can read defensively at centre. But on the left edge, the right edge reads are completely different because it's the opposite edge. And we saw him get exposed 7 times. They scored most of their tries down that edge.
It's just
he's our
lazy
most
defense.
disappointing player. Because
terrible.
obviously, But just the reads, they're so hard when you
just
do
terrible,
that.
this
Why
whole-
swap them?
Dogs were just hopeless.
And then
in
it
this
gets
game.
worse. Not only are you swapping Alamotti to the right edge, you're putting him inside Carlo Brajab. He's playing his first ever game as a starting 5'8", who's
game to
debuted
forget.
too early, and you're putting them. I'm that angry. And you're putting them next to each other.
Yeah.
And to make it worse, the Ock is there as well.
Who's always been ripped in
He's
for his
so
defence.
his defense has always been bad. And
Not the Ockenball, thank you.
Ockenball. No, but to be honest, the Ock, he's been good this year. Like, we all know that it's not like, obviously we rebranded him and he's got the match-winning try.
Good, but Ockenball is just Ockenball.
But the moments that the Ock was good this year was in the middle.
Yeah.
Defensively in the middle, like literally as a prop, he was good. On the edge, whenever he gets close to that wing, he just
The
crumbles.
closer he is to the wing, the worse
It's
he
like
is.
kryptonite. The wing is like Jaden Ockenball's kryptonite. He just crumbles. He loses his powers or something. And so that right edge was completely obliterated because you had Alamotti, who's never played right centre, with Rajab on his first game starting, and then Ockenball.
It was just, I think the Dogs are just lucky they were playing the Knights in this game.
You know what's worse? The fact it gets worse. They then bench Carlo Brajab in his first ever start, completely ruin his confidence. They've dropped him this week. He's going to be, like, you talk about Freddie Filler ruining players' confidence. How's that bloke feeling now? His
I know.
confidence is gone.
I know,
and then how do they cover it, Zane? They move Matt Burton onto the right side to defend. Matt Burton's never played right side in his life. He's played left centre and 5'8", which is left side. They move him to the right side, and then they bring Jake Averillo into the halves, who's like, and then they put Jackson Torpenay at centre again. They did that on Good Friday against the South.
That
What was the
just
score? Tell me what the score
50 to
was.
14, I
And then
know.
they did it against the Eels, and what was the score in that
30 to
game?
4.
And that was only for a half. So that on average, he's conceding over 50 points a game at left centre, and he's done it again. It was 66-0.
I just
And then
like-
who have they named at centre this week?
Torpenay.
Oh my goodness!
South 13 plus. And it's against the South's left edge. So AJ going against
Well,
AJ.
no, he's on the right. He's on
So
left.
Carraz is marking AJ. Oh, okay.
Carraz and Braden Burns.
Oh, Burns. I got PTSD with
And
Burns.
that's just the back line. Then you talk about, no, you know what? Let me change my podcast notes. That's not my most disappointing player. I forgot. This player's performance that I'm about to say was so disappointing, I've wiped it from my memory. Do you have any guesses who my actual most disappointing player
Is
is?
it Fox?
Tavita Pangai Jr.
Oh, yeah,
Did
okay.
you see his stats?
Yeah.
Did you see his stats?
Oh, I
Tell me how many-
I saw people talking about
How
him.
many meters did he run for?
Oh, I was like, it wasn't much.
37 meters.
Jesus.
I
What?
ran for more than that many meters walking from the car park to the stadium. Are you
No,
serious?
walking from your seat to get food, to get your hot dog.
Mate,
is
from
more
the
than-
moment I got my hot dog back to my seat, I literally ran. And I'm saying, and I walked the whole way and I still ran more
And
meters.
actually, let's interrupt. So
Yeah,
that
go for it,
food-
go for it.
That food, we're talking about a core stadium now, complaining about it.
Yeah.
That food station behind, like, where the borough and the kennel are,
Yeah.
they don't ever have hot dogs.
They never have hot dogs.
Yes.
You are 100%
I
correct, sir.
had to walk around all the way around to the other side to
Yeah.
get a hot dog.
That is
Why?
the most
Michael?
accurate thing
Tell
I've
me,
ever
why
heard.
does that food, like, what do you call them, bar?
I've been doing hot dog reviews at that stadium for over a year, and you still don't have the dignity to put hot dogs where I sit. Are
And
you
tell
serious?
me why a drumstick is $7. I got one and I'm like, I don't feel like much to eat. I don't want to spend too much money. Why don't I get an ice cream? $7.
Seven
I'm like,
buckaroos.
Whatever.
That's more than the hot chips.
And they don't say how much the price is.
Yeah, you just
The
have to-
chocolates
you just
and that.
have to cop it.
Because they know once you scan it, they're like, whatever.
Yeah.
How dare you, I call. The food prices there are terrible.
Horrible.
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 It's just disgusting.
It's like a Gatorade. Oh, sorry, Powerade. They don't have Gatorade. They only have Powerade. That costs you like $7 or $8.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost as bad as the Bulldogs' performance.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But yeah, Tavita Pangai Jr., you know what's worse than his 37 run meters? How many runs do you reckon he took?
Oh, 4.
Six.
6.
He was averaging like 5 meters a run. Now, you've played rugby league before, Zane. You played in the charity
I
match.
did.
Do you know what an advantage line is?
Yes.
So, like, where the play the ball is?
Yeah.
That's the advantage line. Obviously, you're going to run onto
Yeah,
the
I
ball.
know how much you run from there.
So, this isn't, like, I don't want to be getting too X's and O's and I'm not giving you exact numbers, but roughly, when I'm running onto the ball, it's roughly 5 meters to the play of the ball. Like, because you stand back, you catch the ball running onto it. Based on those numbers, he's not even hitting the advantage line. Mate, you taught that in under 10s to hit the advantage line. He's not
No,
even getting to the play
New
of the
South Wales
ball.
legend should be doing better than that.
Oh, it's so bad. It's
Are we done with the Dogs game now?
nearly. I've got one more. I'll force myself to stop, but I've got one more stat in terms of Tavita. I've just read this one. How many post-contact meters do you reckon he made?
2.
5. 5 post-contact meters.
Better than what I thought.
Hayes Perham made 40. Hayes Perham.
Well, he must have just had a bad day, Pango.
I
Honestly.
think that's
Well, yeah,
worse
obviously,
than,
but-
yeah, thanks, Zane. That's analysis right there.
Can't get worse than Paul Alamotti in defence.
Oh.
'Cause that was just
It
terrible.
was just so bad. And yeah, that's my wrap. But also, let's end it on a positive note. Jacob Preston, man.
Yeah, good.
Our only good player.
It was good.
Our only good player. Shout out to Jacob Preston. But yeah,
And Carraz was good as well.
Carraz was all right. Yeah, he did.
All right.
He did what he
But
could do.
what do you think about Sexy coming in?
Oh yeah,
Big
we better talk
sexy,
about
eh?
we better talk about the sex.
Should talk about
sex
it in the
bomb.
preview, hey?
Yeah, we'll come back
we'll
to
come
sex.
back
You
to
know
it.
what? I think we're doing an Origin preview. We should do a Toby Sexton preview. Let's give him his own podcast.
God, here we go.
Talking sex with Zane and Winston. All right, let's move on before I actually leave.
Sorry.
What?
Just opened my phone, the bad news. Jed Cartwright's leaving to the Knights.
I thought that was already confirmed.
Oh, they've just confirmed
well, there you
it
go.
now.
That's confirmed.
Oh, no.
Confirmed.
What a loss.
What are your thoughts on that? Because
What a loss.
Are you sarcasm here? He's one of my favourite players.
Yeah, no,
Jed
he's
Cartwright.
okay, but like he's not, Cameron
Yeah,
Murray.
yeah.
It'd be different if I
When
saw.
you did that, I was like, oh no, he's bloody Ben Icon on 360 again.
Oh no.
Well, remember last time you opened your phone to big news, you're like, oh, Ben Icon's on 360. Zane, Manly Roosters. This
Good
was
game.
of the round almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
I didn't watch this game.
Roosters were better in this game than what they've been. Defensively,
Yeah.
I thought they were very good defensively.
I didn't watch it because I was too busy like crying and very
Yeah.
depressed and stuff. But this game, like what I was reading on social media, was giving this game such big raps that I went and watched the second half.
They were just two desperate teams, fighting to keep their season alive.
Mm.
Roosters defended so well. Like, I think there was about 15 minutes where Manly were riding their line and Roosters just didn't let them through. Then eventually, Ben Trbojevic broke through.
Yeah.
But Roosters in attack are still pretty average.
Yeah.
Apart from Joey Manu, they just don't offer too much.
No,
But defensively,
literally.
defensively, they were really good in this game.
It's been the story for the last couple of weeks. If you take Joey Manu, like ever since he went back to centre, really, if you take him away, they're not scoring
Do you know
points.
what Buzz Rothfield put up the idea for them to do?
What?
Manu, the fullback, Tedesco.
I saw that
to
the other
5'8".
week. That's no. Their attack has improved when Manu's at centre. Like obviously we're saying that's the only place their attack is, but at least there's attack now. At least they have something.
There's not really attack.
But Manu, like he's scoring points.
Do I think Manly were the better team? No, I
don't reckon?
I think they just got lucky in the end. That Roosters just can't attack.
Honestly,
with the
man-
errors Roosters had, they didn't make those errors. I reckon they could have got closer.
Daly Cherry Evans won Manly that game.
Oh, yeah.
He was
He
incredible.
was good.
He was incredible. That was so good from Daly Cherry Evans.
He's in career best form, like peak.
I don't know
Cherry
if I'd
Evans
say
at the moment.
career best form,
Close to
but
it.
he's not in career worst form at all,
Yeah,
is he?
no
Like he's
way.
playing really well.
But yeah, he was very good.
Yeah.
Gerbo was great,
Yeah, Jobo played well.
as always.
Jake Trbojevic, boy, he makes such a difference.
He does. To
He
Manly.
makes such
just
a difference.
in there, like
Yeah.
attitude and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
he's
so
the
good.
next captain when DC retires.
Yeah, easily. He should
Definitely.
Yeah, easily.
Future Blues captain as well.
He could even captain the nation, honestly.
Yeah. Deserves
Who
to.
are like
Cameron
say-
Murray's the
I was going to say
rumoured
the
one.
only other one I can think of is like if you get rid of Cherry and Tedesco, it's either I guess Cleary and then Murray or Gerbo.
Murray, yeah. Or Troll. Maybe Troll. Captain Troll.
Troll mid.
Captain Troll, mate.
You know, I could see captaining in Australia and say like in
Carrigan.
the distant future.
I can see Carrigan.
Yeah, I guess. I was going to say Toby Sexton.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay.
No, yeah, that's actually a good shout though. Patrick Carrigan. Yeah, he'd be a really
He'll
good
be the next
captain.
Queensland captain
Yeah.
as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Paddy. But yeah, it was a good game. Like I thought you put it perfectly moments ago. You said it was two desperate teams
Yeah.
fighting to keep the season alive.
Roosters
and
just, I don't think they're playing finals now.
at Brookie as well, like
Yeah.
at a sold out Brookie.
It's crazy to think, but I don't think Roosters
Yeah.
playing finals.
Like I personally think they still can. But
I don't think they can.
But
I've
I'm
looked at
like
their
an
draw.
emphasis on they can. I'm going to say it. I don't think they're going to play finals.
No.
I think they can, but I don't think they will.
Thankfully.
I'm not putting the line through them, but
I'm putting them on.
like if I'm predicting the top 8. They're not in my top 8.
Yeah, neither. I just
Yeah.
can't see him overtaking a bunch of these other sides. Like even some sides that are like not in the 8 at the moment. I can't see him overtaking them.
Isn't that a shame, Zane? Don't you hate to see that?
Oh, it's devastating. The Roosters aren't playing finals.
He says
aren't it?
through a huge smile.
Oh, I love
It's
it.
so bad.
I love it. Round 27 is going to be even more bittersweet.
Oh, because you just get to really just ruin
Yeah.
it. You get to send them out losers. You get to pack their bags for them and send them off to Bali.
Exactly.
Do you reckon in that round 27 game, or like, give me an honest answer here, do Souths turn up and play 80 minutes of football?
Yes, they will. If it's against the Roosters.
Or, wait, let me finish. Let me finish. Or do they turn up with suitcases and some luggage and literally pack the Roosters' bags?
Oh,
and
I
then
reckon-
literally buy them plane
I reckon
tickets
we should bring
and send them to Bali. Like,
I'll bring a
what happened?
suitcase there, give it to the Roosters fans.
And a plane ticket.
Yeah.
And send them off to Bali.
They'll have Mad Monday.
Is
on
it at,
Monday.
it's at Arcor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at
I was going
Arcor.
to say, if it's at Arlett, it's almost the farewell game. The Roosters' farewell.
Still will be.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that game when it comes. Still a long while to go until then.
Yeah, South might bloody fall lower than the Roosters. not this weekend, but into the near future. I'll tell you what. I know we already talked about South Warriors, but we said how important that game was.
Yeah.
Like if they because we're looking at the next month and it was genuinely like losable all 4 games. So
yes,
it's
and I
very
was so stressed last
very
week.
big win,
And it was a
especially the
massive
margin
win as well.
Huge.
And they played so good, South.
All right, Zane. Now this is why everyone's here at this podcast. As we've said already, you're in your Souths kit. I'm in my Bulldogs kit.
Big game, isn't it?
As we said at the start, in case people have skipped through, the loser this weekend is getting punished. Comment your
Whatever
punishments.
comment of your choice.
Comment your punishments.
Something acceptable. Like we're not jumping off a cliff or streaking the field or
Yeah.
like what else is there? Like we're not doing anything like
Well,
that.
how about we don't give them inappropriate ideas?
Yeah.
Let's not give them the bad ideas. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they might say for us to do that we don't want to do. But before we get into it, as always, Zane,
What is it? Which one?
I was gonna say give a
Shout out
to
the pickle bet,
yeah.
obviously. Yeah. Shout out the pickle bet.
What was the other thing
And
you
use
were
code
thinking?
hot dog.
What else were you thinking?
It's the gambling hotline number.
Oh, you thought I was going to throw under the bus straight away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Zane, as you just said, shout out to Picklebet. If you're going to have a bet, do it with Picklebet, especially the Bulldogs Souths game. I know that our fan multi this week, we've got our fan multi in already. It's on the Souths Bulldogs game. I'm going to assume that your multi's on the Souths Bulldogs game. I've made sure that mine.
It is.
I've made sure that mine isn't because we want a bit of variety. So if you're gonna have a bet, you can either jump on our bets, which are up on the Instagram. I'll link them on the story, or you can place your own if you want it to win. Although shout out to Zane, your bet got up.
It did.
Actually, I'll swing back and go over the last week.
And Sharks
Our
play
predictions.
Shark Park again. Like I could
Yeah.
just do that every round, couldn't I? Against the Tigers.
But yeah, I'm so lost. I'm so broken after the weekend, if you can't tell. But yeah, bet with Picklebet. But if you are having any trouble, if you're not gambling responsibly, which you should always be doing, what is the phone number that they can call?
Oh no, I just switched my phone off.
Put your phone down and tell me the phone number.
1800.
Come on. There's only 3 more numbers.
858. 858.
Show me your phone screen. All right.
858. 858.
Yeah. 1-800-858-858
I got it, yeah.
and use code HOTDOG when you're signing up. Let's start at the start. Tigers and Sharks.
Sharks. Next. Is there much we need to talk about here, honestly?
Well,
though?
can you give me a margin and a try score
Sharks
at
don't
least?
have a single origin player. Neither do Tigers,
Yeah.
but still Sharks at Sharks Park. So once again, he scored at every game he's played at this ground. Ronaldo Mulatalo.
Yeah.
He's scoring and Sharks will win 13 plus. That's all I can say. Like, Can you honestly see it going another way that a Sharks
can.
win? You can see Tigers winning this. Yeah, no.
It's Sharks
Like, what more
13
can we
plus,
say
and
about
I'm on Will Kennedy, and it's my multi of the week.
Yeah, what more can we
Because
say
I'm not
about
an idiot.
this?
I need some points. Oh my God, this is how rattled I am. I literally just said that I was going to go back and review our tipping in the ad that we just did, and I didn't. All right, Zane, last week's tipping, before we go any further, it was 13 apiece.
We had a tie.
We had a tie, but that wasn't including your double points for your multi of the week. So you won 16 to 13
thank
because
you,
of the
Ronaldo.
multi. Yeah, the multi of the week got you over the line. So well done to Zane. He now leads 15 to 5. I'm still alive though. I'm not giving up yet. The next game after the Tigers Sharks game is wait. Actually, I better write your thing down. I'm so rattled, Zane. Should we call the podcast off? Young Ronaldo. I nearly went Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Dragons and Raiders. In
Wollongong.
Cogra, is it in Wollongong?
It's in Wollongong.
What are you on? Is it an 8 o'clock game?
Yeah. It's a night game.
You going to it?
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
actually.
Right.
Dragons aim up and Wollongong. I'll
That's what I
say
was thinking.
Raiders though.
Yeah. They are missing some
Probably in,
Origin players. Though,
Probably,
that's the thing.
yeah, they do.
Oh,
but
no, are they? Because that's Young's not in, or Horsburgh.
Horsburgh, that's it. And that's a big loss as well.
Yeah, that is a big loss, to be fair.
And Hunt's out as well, but is that like a big...
Hunt is
Raiders,
a
but,
huge
you know,
loss.
right.
What is Hunter big? I guess he may as well not be playing now.
See, Hunt...
That's a fair point.
If Raiders win, it's going to be tight. I'm say Raiders by about 4, so 1-12. I reckon... Oh, I back a Dragons player to score, actually.
Tyrell
Let's go
Sloan.
Let's go with
Ben Hunt.
replacement Paul Turner.
Yeah, right. Any good? Have you heard
Finally,
of
we
Paul
got
Turner?
Paul Turner. Like
Yeah.
we get like Olakawatu and all those names now. Like what happened to names like Smith and Boyd and Smith, Boyd and Turner and all that.
Yeah. Do you remember Steve Turner?
Yeah,
He was a
God.
legend. Bulldogs, literally Bulldogs legend. He was actually a quality player. He scored a grand final try in
I heard his name
2012.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Paul Turner. How about
Paul
that?
Turner. Kyle Turner.
Turner,
That was
yeah,
a
the
South
goat,
player,
the
wasn't
goat,
it? Was he
yeah.
back rower?
Yeah, he's a back rower.
Yeah,
Well, he
Kyle
played
Turner.
centre as well. Like he played everywhere.
Yeah. There you go. There's a lot of Turners getting around.
Yeah, there is.
Do you reckon he's
Not
related?
anymore.
Not, well, there is now. The
there's
return of
one,
the
yeah.
Turners. Zane.
Paul Turner.
What a story. I'm also on Raiders 1-12. I was going to go 13 plus, and I thought,
They just don't win 13 plus, do they?
yeah, well, that's
They always
one
make
thing.
it hard for themselves.
Yeah, they don't. You're right. And then I was also like, Origin players out, but then I now realise there's not actually that many out. But the fact that Dragons do always aim up in Wollongong scares me a bit. So I'm going to go 1-12, and I'm going to go Croaks. It's so
Croker.
hard to pick a Raiders try scorer because they don't score that much. Like they win games, but it's always like 3 tries, and they don't have like a known try scorer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm going Croaks, who, I mean, out of all of them, he's probably the least known try scorer.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go
exactly.
him nonetheless. Eels and Warriors.
A lot of losses for the Eels here.
Now, the
Guffo's out. Moses.
Gut-
Good.
Hopgood. Oh, no, he'll play. He'll play.
You reckon he'll play? will
Yeah,
he?
because he's 19 for Queensland.
Okay.
So he can play unless he gets put into the 18. But Regan Campbell-Gillard, Dylan Brown is still
Junior
out.
Paulo's still.
Paulo's
is back
playing
in.
now. I just wanted to say that Sean Johnson, as I sort of mentioned earlier, is
out.
meant to be out.
Yeah,
Not
I've
confirmed.
read he's out.
He's definitely out now. There you go.
Still
definitely
I might
out.
back the Warriors.
Yeah?
I just think no Guffer. Guffer's been huge for their turnaround.
That's so true. Actually, I want to have a look at the team list. I haven't looked at the Eels team list. Which, you know what?
Ryan Madison's playing 5'8" again.
Who's halfback? Oh, Arcee.
Arcee, yeah.
Sean Russell, Sevo, Penasini, Simonson, Loomy. Who's he come in for? Oh, Russell must have been on the wing.
Yeah.
Maddo. They went all right with Maddo at 5'8" last time against Manly.
I just think Warriors
And Paulo's
can win
there.
this. I'll say 1-12. And any time, let's go Dallin. He had a disappointing game last week. So let's hope he bounces back. Dallin Wateni is a less now.
Who plays halfback?
Might be
Volk.
Metcalf or Volkman.
Because Metcalf's 5'8",
Okay,
so it'll be
yeah.
Volk.
So it'll be Volk.
Far out. This is hard to pick. Wait, what did you say? Did you say 1-12?
Warriors 1-12.
And Dallin. This is... It's the fact Sean Johnson being out worries me.
If he was played, I'd be more confident. That's it.
If he was playing, I'd go Warriors, but because he's not, I'm actually going to go Eels.
Yeah, okay.
Which it's hard because, like as you said, like Guffer
They
and that
definitely
are
can
out
win.
as well.
I won't be disappointed if they lose.
This is so hard to pick. I'm going Eels. I'm going to go Penasini and 1-12.
Okay.
Like these could literally be like field goal
This
territory.
could, yeah.
Like it's so hard because
I like that, though. Your tip.
Gutho being out scares me a
It
bit.
does.
He's been very good,
He has been.
but
But next game,
Sean
though,
Johnson being out as well, it's just like,
game of the round.
is that where? Yeah, that's where we're up to. Do you want to go first? I want to hear your tipping.
Do you?
You know what? I'll go first. Zane, I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm going Toby Sexton anytime try scorer. And doggy's 13 plus. Let's try, baby.
Man, I won't be surprised if that gets up, to tell you the truth.
And honestly,
I can see the Dogs win this game. And if they
Surely.
do, I won't be disappointed if they win.
they have to.
At all. I'll be like, whatever.
They have to. Look at the South
know.
Sydney side.
I know.
Look
Look at the voice crack describes that side.
They have to.
They have to. I know.
Surely.
I would have got a perfect round last week if I tipped my team.
I would have got a perfect round if I didn't tip my team.
If I tipped my team, I would have got a perfect.
Oh, you're going to do it again.
No, I'm tipping South. Bye. I'm tipping South by this much. Golden point.
Who kicks a field goal? Ilias.
Lockie Ilias field goal and golden point. I reckon 21-20. Exact scoreline.
There you go. And who for a try?
You know what? I'm going to go II captain. Big T. Big Tommy.
I'll tell you what, the way
Big
the
Tom
Bulldogs'
Burgess.
defence is at the moment, it's a good
Him back and forwards.
It's a good pick to
I like
pick
Tom
a
Burgess.
forward.
And he loves
far
playing
out.
the Dogs as well. The Burgess twins
Yeah,
do.
true, eh?
They always it's their most grubby games as well.
I really like the field goal call.
Yeah,
I'm
reckon
tempted.
It's going to be so tight this game.
But you know what would be absolutely poetic? Toby Sexton.
I imagine.
Field goal. Has he even kicked a field goal before?
I think so.
You said we're going to talk about Toby Sexton, so let's actually do that because
Look,
there's.
he's
what's
a very,
your opinion
he's
on
a
it?
very good player.
Yeah.
It's just he was hard done by at the Titans last year because it was a very inexperienced spine and he was thrown into the hot seat when
Do you remember why Boyd got the jump on him this year? Was it injury or purely preference?
preference.
It was
only
preference.
because just he was getting hammered Sexton last year.
Did Sexton get dropped last year at the end, and
for
then Boyd took his
because they
spot?
just weren't.
'Cause he got put in early, though.
They Fogarty to breed Sexton in, and they just had a very inexperienced spine. They thought Brimson could do it, but it just didn't work. But
Yeah,
he's a very good player.
Was
Sexton.
Brimson 5'8"?
Yes, he was, and Campbell was
and
fullback.
he was hard done by.
Yeah,
but
Sexton.
when the signing first came out, I was sort of like, why have we signed another young half?
He's very
and
good.
then I realised he's not a young half. He's a young half back. He's a half back.
Yeah.
And I went and watched his game from this year where he had an absolute blinder and scored like 80 fantasy points. And he's an organisational half.
He's got talent when he's got good players around him. So is he going to throw at the Dogs?
Is he going to bring us a premiership, Zane? Technically.
Well, Gould doesn't seem to be under. He's not signed for 2 years.
Phil
Gould
Gould's
said
not familiar with the
Phil
season.
Gould says he's still 5 years away from a comp.
If you look at it just purely like let's ignore what year it is. If you look at it just Toby Sexton coming into the team, like he's probably not going to win us a premiership, right? But it's sort of what we need. It's the best option right now because we need a halfback. Matt Burton's not a halfback. He's a 5'8". A lot of people think he's a centre. He's a 5'8" centre, right? He's not an organizer. We can say that. He's not an organizer. He's not a structured seven that gets the boys around the park. He needs that inside him to then play off. He needs a halfback that can free him up and give him
that's what
space.
I agree.
And that's what Kyle Flanagan...
And I think when you get young halves, you need to have a pretty good spine around them to develop them. And that's why it's worked at South because they've got good players
with Ilias.
around. Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And
that's why...
we tried it with Flano at halfback and I was really... Because Flano never really got a chance with Burton last year until Potter came in.
Yeah.
And they went all right.
They did.
So I was like, imagine it with the preseason, but he didn't go that well this year. But I think, do you reckon, is Toby Sexton better than Kyle Flanagan?
I reckon,
You think
yes.
so? And as I said, I was watching...
reckon they're going to... When you compare Boyd, Flanagan and Sexton, I reckon Sexton will have the better career.
There you
out of the
go.
three.
That's a big call. That excites me a little bit because I know a little bit about Sexton, but I hadn't watched him
This
closely
Sexton
or anything
signing
until this week.
gives me some vibes about where Ben Hunt might go.
Oh, 100%, yeah. He's going to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
That's 100% what's happened, surely. But yeah, he's just, as I said, I was watching that game and he's an organisational seven.
Yeah.
And he's got a simple job. I know it's like...
He's just got a bad reputation because of how much he was hammered last year.
Yeah.
And you can't blame him for that last year.
But he's got a simple job, and obviously coming into the Bulldogs squad, it looks like a really impossible job. But all he has to do, his one job is to just organise.
But do you reckon
almost everything?
they should have had him in the club for a few weeks before they throw him in the first grade?
That's the interesting part, isn't it?
He's going to come in hardly know the game plan and just have.
He's going to have 2 training sessions before Saturday. But I think coming off a 66-0 thumping. Rajab got dropped. Oluwapu's not a 7. Flano's now a hooker. I think they had to put him in.
Yeah.
They didn't have a choice.
Yeah, they had to get
They didn't have a
someone.
choice.
They need a halfback.
Yeah.
They need a good halfback.
As we said, obviously the ironic part is he is going to win us a premiership because it's 2024 next year. That's the ironic part. But if it wasn't 2024 next year, obviously he's not winning a premiership. But I think he's going to improve the side, even just a little bit. If he does what he needs to do, and I think he's capable of doing what he needs to do.
Yeah.
And like we're a better
I reckon he
team.
might have a good game.
We're a better team this weekend than we were last weekend.
I reckon he might have a good game. But
You
I just
reckon?
reckon it's going to be 20-14, 5 minutes to go. Then Big Thomas is going to score under the sticks and it'll
And then
take us to
Ilias
golden
field
point
goal.
and Ilias field goal.
Yeah, fair.
That's how I'd
Be a
reckon.
good game.
Yeah.
You'll be
I
in the
reckon Dogs will
Burrow.
score first. Yeah, I'll be in
Yeah?
the Burrow. Loud and proud.
I think anything under 50 is a good game.
I reckon 21
No,
to 20.
this is a winnable game.
It is.
It's
If
a
Dogs don't
winnable
win this
game.
game, I'll back them to get the spoon. If
It's
you
a win-
cannot beat
I
this
wouldn't go
South
that
top
far.
side. And our reserve grade side
That's not how
sucks.
things work, but yeah.
Our reserve grade side sucks.
Are you going to be there for Cup?
Yeah, probably.
I'll probably get there for Cup.
Yeah, I'll see what. I'll probably leave after work around 12. Gates open at 4.
Zane, I have a proposition. Hot dog review?
Yeah, of course.
You're in it?
Of course.
'Cause
We'll
I-
have to walk
'cause I
around
think-
to the other side of the bloody ground.
Because I'm on the bloody other side of the ground anyway. Because
Oh, yeah, you're in the
Because
away.
I'm in the away thing.
Yeah, well,
but
we
yeah,
took your area this week.
because Good Friday I didn't do one, so I got to get you in a hot. Obviously, you were in the charity match one, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, that was.
All right. And then Titans Dolphins.
Ooh, interesting game, isn't it?
It is.
Hammer's out for the Dolphins with a few injuries. Titans are missing Fafita and Tino. And Brimson.
They're missing a
they're
few.
big
but
losses. Brimson.
Dolphins are missing. Are they missing anyone outside of Hammer?
I know, but like Brimson, Fafita, and Tino are big losses as well.
Yeah, and is Fodawaker in
Fodder
Origin?
Waker, yeah, he's.
Well, yeah, they are missing some players.
I'll go Dolphins here. I liked what they showed last week. Like, this
Dolphins?
is at Seabass. Like, do I think they'll come back from 26-0 again? No. No way in the world, but
1 to 12.
I might go. Stay safe here. I'll say 1 to 12.
And then a try.
I'll go
scorer.
Tessie New.
Oh, that's not Osako.
Nah, Tessie New. You just, like I say every week, if you're playing the Titans, you're backing out, so I'm back to score. That's about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because they can't defend out there.
I'm actually going Titans in this one.
Yeah,
it is hard to pick, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's lots of outs, but I kind of want to switch now. Where's it? It's at Seabass.
Seabass, yeah.
I'll stick.
Stick with Titans.
Make it
Like, Brimson's
interesting.
a big loss for him.
What's their
They're
spine?
probably very devastated about losing Sexton as well.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
would
they
he have
had to-
come in? No, because Campbell's fullback.
Campbell will be fullback, yeah. Verrills full car.
Where's he been playing off the bench?
Campbell, yeah, and New South Wales
Yeah.
Cup. Oh, well,
Yeah.
just Queensland Cup.
Yeah.
He's been.
I'll tell you, no, honestly, Sexton's a big loss. I'm going Dolphins. Sexton's too big of a loss, man.
He's played one game all year.
Mate, I
for him.
was on TikTok and Titans. Sexton's in like all their TikToks. He's big for the club culture. Trust me, he's big for the club culture. They're gonna miss him so much. I don't know if they'll win another game without him. Honestly,
God, imagine.
honestly, the
Poor Titans.
sex bomb. What's a good nick? What do you reckon the best nickname for him? He's getting lots of nicknames.
He gets the sex.
The
The
sex?
sexy is his main one.
Se-
you know
Did
when
he
you
get
go to
sex
the, you know
bomb
when
at
you go to the
Titans?
play profiles on our.com, his nickname is sexy.
Yeah, nice. I'm in a Bulldog group chat and it's been renamed to, I think it was Toby's Sex Town is what it currently is. It's gone through a lot of name changes, but nah, shout out to Toby Sex. I'm excited for him, to be honest. Like, I think it'll be all right. We're better than we were last time. It's all right.
Until
honestly.
7:35 on Saturday night, how he goes.
He might be undefeated. He still is he's undefeated this season so far.
Yeah, he is.
He's never lost a game with the Bulldogs. He hasn't lost a game this
Is
year.
that going to be your TikTok
Could
for the
be.
weekend?
You'll have to find
Sexton's
out.
never lost a game.
And my try scorer, ironically, I was literally, before Sexton signed, I was going to go Sexton to score in this game, but
Doesn't ever play.
I'm gonna
though.
have to go-
He wouldn't have played though, would he?
I'm going to go Cam Pereira.
I like it. I like
Is
it.
your multi of the week South 1 to 12?
Yeah.
Is your multi
Big
of the
Thomas scoring.
Is your multi of the week South by 1 on Picklebet?
by 1?
You want to go? Do you want to? I'll tell you what, Zane. I know I'm
By
trying to.
1 and Tom Burgess any
Do
time.
you want to make your multi of the week? Like, obviously not for our tipping thing, but for Picklebet. Do you want to make it 21-20? Because that, like, you can do that.
I don't
as a
want to do
market.
exact score.
Surely,
so
that's value.
difficult. I just reckon
and then get
South-
on it as well.
South's
Surely,
by 1.
come on, back yourself in.
Nah. I can't.
Come on, back
I can't,
yourself
I
in.
Can't, I can't.
But your multi's gonna be South by 1
Yes.
and Tom Burgess. That'll be value.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it would be.
That'll. Oh, sorry. And shout out to Elliot, is our fan multi of the week. He's on South's 13 plus,
Ooh.
and this was his
Okay.
exact words. AJ, nah, that's too easy. Lachlan Ilias.
Yeah,
that was his exact words.
This is Lachlan Ellis's game.
So Lockie
this as
Ilias.
He's got to take control of this side this week. So
Obviously,
does Blake Taff.
use code HOTDOG when you're signing up to Picklebet, and doggies. Let's shop, baby. Any final words before
Let's
the big
try.
one? Oh, that's an omen.